Welcome to the announcement video for day one. I have made announcement videos and important update videos in the past. However, I actually want to do what I call a redo stream. So my redo or retake streams is basically me trying to, from now on, improve and do my streams and even my updates and even the behind the scenes a little more proper than I did in the past. And by this, I'm going to tell you why. So in the past, when I started streaming about 2 months ago, I had basically, just kind of tried to push out content without realizing that the content half the time I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. The streams, for example, were all over, like with just overlays. And so we had overlays that were kind of blocking the screen. I had, just games that were lagging. I had parts of the videos that were just really terrible. And so when I looked back at old videos, it's usually content that even I wouldn't really watch because I've had so much change to improve the streams, like the green screen and even like the camera, that just going back to like what my old videos were, I just couldn't be comfortable with actually watching them. So this is where I even came into the realization last night, where when I was having a lagging issue with Poppy's Playtime, even my camera was going out of control. I found out that the reason why is because my computer graphics unit is actually almost at nearly 90% by the time that I start streaming Poppy's Playtime. And this is just me not even actually streaming. This is me just playing the game in the background on my PC, which I tested this morning. And this is why my game was completely like laggy or just, just had problems. So this is where I actually started to realize this morning that I needed to change up the stream one more time. And this time I'm actually going to announce how. So before I ever stream any video game, I don't want any more laggy games. I don't want any more of these broken ass, streams that completely ruin my experience as well as yours. Because what I used to think of when I first started streaming was to just push out content, and to just hopefully actually have the profile of games. I am on 99 videos right now for YouTube. 99. And when I look back at like how many videos it was that I finally started doing the upper right screen with like the box shaped webcam or even the green screen, it was like probably maybe 30 videos ago. And so almost 2/3 of those videos are actually all shit and garbage because they were using overlays that I thought were cool looking at the time for Twitch. And the camera was like kind of like this ugly rectangle. It was a shitty angle, and I was like, you know what? I wouldn't even watch this crap, And it's like, even if it's old content, and yeah, if I liked my own self as a streamer, which I do, I actually watch some of my own videos, and I actually see why people watch it. There's certain ones that are actually good, but then when I have certain ones that are actually shit, it just kind of pisses me off, like what happened with Poppy's Playtime or even with the recent Dark Souls video. And I'm like, okay, this is like wasted effort. So from now on, what I'm going to be doing is doing a pre-test on all these games offline. And so the thing is that if I start to realize that my CPU or my GPU starts getting way too high to the point that it might actually be considered risky for me to actually stream the game, then I will have to just hold off on playing that actual game, unfortunately, until the future when I actually have a better PC. And so this is where I'm going to start a whole new type of stream. So as you noticed, I changed this icon here. Okay, this is my emblem. I designed this thing. I even made a video on it. Okay, I figured that that would be a better emblem than what I had before. And I actually even removed the Ko-Fi little bar that used to show the link to my Ko-Fi, because I figured it was more of like, I don't want it to make it seem like I want people to donate. I want them to donate on their own. You know, I don't want it to just advertise it in some fucking corner, like in every goddamn video. So I'd rather just have it there on my profile. It's already there. There's a fucking link, regardless if it's mobile or if it's on web, is that there's always a link that shows Ko-Fi, you know, donation or Stream Elements donation. And I even added an Amazon wish list, recent one, for both the mobile and the web. So if you click on any of them, which I might have to say click here, I should probably edit that and put that in the text, is that click here, it'll actually lead you to, you know, the Ko-Fi website to donate, or the Stream Elements website to donate, or even the Amazon wish list. And so I figured that this will actually help, you know, alleviate some of the clutter on the screen, and just have this up in the corner, nothing else anymore besides just my camera. And so aside from that, while I pre-test half of these games before I actually, you know, stream them, if a game is considered too risky, I won't do it. I'll just move on. And unfortunately, this also means that there's a possibility I may actually cancel Poppy's Playtime, because Poppy's Playtime actually requires an ass load of GPU, which I'm very surprised. It's probably because the graphics are very delightful to look at. I mean, it is like a big toy store game, you know. It's actually not an ugly game, and I think it's very beautifully crafted, but unfortunately my PC cannot handle this beautifully crafted game. So I'm going to actually be moving on to a game that I have been waiting on for a while, and that's because I finally got my hands on this device right here, which I think you might see is the word Brook. And I know that Brook probably doesn't look like Brook, but it says Brook. How are you doing today, Reboot? And so what this device does, okay, I explained this in the Poppy's Playtime video, however, I'd rather explain it here. This is called a Wingman Converter, okay? There's a Wingman Converter 1, and there's a Wingman Converter 2. And what this device does is it allows me to plug in a USB port from my controller into this USB drive. So it will go from... That's good, I'm glad. So we are going to plug this controller with a wire into this with a USB, and this USB will plug into the PlayStation 3. What this allows me to do is to simulate the 6-axis controls, since PlayStation officially stopped producing the PlayStation 3 controller, and unfortunately every other shitty-ass company that tries to make an alternative controller for the PlayStation 3 has failed. Every single company. Like literally every single company. It doesn't regardless if it's like a $70, $80, $100 controller, they have all failed. And the Wingman Converter, this device right here, being only $50, $40, actually allows you to use almost 135 controllers of different kinds and simulate the 6-axis controls, which allow you to play PlayStation 3 games using the motion sensors, which none of these controllers are able to do. Not the PlayStation 4 official, not the PlayStation 5 official, not even the Xbox controls. So this Wingman Converter is going to allow me to do a lot with the PlayStation 3. I have tested it. It actually does work. It's a beautiful device. And no, this is not a sponsorship or a promotion, but I bought it myself because I am going to start a new game called Folklore. And Folklore is an incredibly rare game, okay? It is almost as rare as Rule of Rose. And the reason why is because very few people actually knew about this game, and those who did actually saw how much of a hidden gem it was. It is a whimsical kind of like fantasy dark horror game. Okay, so it is a horror. It's got like crime investigation and murder, and it's got whimsical like beauty to it, okay? And I feel like this will be a wonderful game to stream because the music is beautiful, the art is beautiful, the gameplay is pretty beautiful for it being a PlayStation 3 game. It's way better than me trying to test another Poppy's Playtime video and end up fucking it up, and so I'd rather just do Folklore. Once I end up with Folklore, we'll see where we move on from then. I will still be continuing the Dark Souls series, and thankfully I will not run into any problems with the Dark Souls series because I actually have most of those games on console. And the reason I stream console, for those of you who actually have been watching me, is because it's a lot easier for me to stream where my CPU or GPU is not going to go fucking out the roof, okay? There's not going to be any lag, there's not going to be any like fucking camera problems or stream problems or just pausing in the video, because like whenever I switch windows, for example, like alt tab from one window to try to touch something on OBS, or maybe I want to touch Firefox, for whatever reason most of the PC applications, including Steam, okay, Steam, which for some reason is starting to have a really bad reputation from me, okay, I'm really starting to hate Steam, is that all their applications, regardless if it's in borderless window or if it's in windowed mode, you cannot for some reason just click out of the screen and have the application running in the background. It just doesn't fucking work. It's completely freezes the game. It stops all audio and all gameplay, and until I click back into the game, suddenly it wants to start up again. There is almost nothing to fucking fix this issue, so I actually really hate that. But aside from that, that's basically the announcement. So I'm going to be, as you know, pre-testing every game before every stream. I'm going to be making sure that, you know, it operates properly, cameras proper, fucking green screens proper, games proper, and hopefully we'll have a higher chance, not a guaranteed chance, but a higher chance of an actual better quality stream. And because of this, it's because I'd rather push out content that is quality based. I started to realize that it's not about me trying to push out as much content, but to push out meaningful content, to push out content that actually is pleasant to watch, that is actually good quality. It doesn't have any buggy issues like what happened in Dark Souls' recent video, or even Poppy's Playtime, but to have an actual clean, straightforward game, you know? And already I've come to the decision of only streaming one horror game, one challenge game, and one other genre at the same time. So we will always have a horror, we will always have a challenge, we will always have that other genre, regardless what the hell the other genre is. It doesn't matter if it's RPG game, or if it's whimsical, or if it's fantasy, or if it's some open world GTA, I don't give a shit. Whatever it is, it's only 3 games at a time. One horror, one challenge, one other. And so knowing that update, and now knowing this update, hopefully we'll actually have better content. And, you know, I'm going to try to get this fucking piece of shit behind me to operate a little more clearly, because unfortunately the OBS Studio captures my tattoos as green, captures my eyeliner as green, and captures even parts of my hair as green, because every time I move this lamp, okay, this fucking hue light, it starts to, like, this is the hue lamp, okay, is that every time I do it, it thinks that the color behind me is white. So sometimes the green screen is not really green. See how it shades out like this? And so this is why I need proper lighting. I am going to try to fix this issue in the future. Right now it is kind of a little dim, so I don't blame it that the computer thinks that for some reason that it's more black or something. But I'm trying my best. And aside from that, we will try to fix this emoji, or should I say this subscription badge, to put Lim in there. And I'm still thinking about the design of Lim. You know, I'm trying to think of something unique and how. And once I have that idea, I'll be doing another stream where I actually design Lim. And we'll continue that. Then once I finally finish all the sub badges, we'll move on to the non-animated emojis, and then we'll move on to the animated emojis, okay? So that's basically all I wanted to say. I really appreciate you guys actually sitting here to watch that. We will be continuing Dark Cloud 2 because it is still the other category. We'll be still continuing the Dark Souls series because that is the challenge category. However, Poppy's Playtime, which was supposed to be the horror, I'm going to probably cancel it. And so aside from that, we're going to replace it with Folklore, which is going to be tonight. I'm going to be streaming this. It's just I would rather eat this first because I hardly ever find the time to eat. And so I need to, you know, get something in my system because I've been streaming kind of nonstop without like drinking water or eating properly. And I'm actually losing weight pretty fast. Like I was at 135 before I became a streamer. I'm probably at like 119 right now, maybe 120 something. And so that's basically it. We'll be starting Folklore probably here in about less than 20 minutes. Let me just finish my food, and hopefully from here on we'll have something nice, you know, to definitely be... Oh, and by the way, so anything about the donations or anything, I've come to the conclusion that, you know, it's probably best for you to subscribe because it keeps you away from having to do ads, okay? Ads are very annoying. And I've set it to like the minimum I possibly could to make sure that I, you know, it's like a minute and a half, like every 30 minutes or something. But, you know, that's definitely something more beneficial to you. Now, as for like, if there is any future like things that I could probably tell to any viewer, not just the ones in this stream, but I'm talking about anybody who's watching this video, regardless if you're on YouTube or Twitch. The cheers are kind of like a universal thing, and it's really only for you to play around or tinker around with, like throwing a tomato on the screen, causing a noise on the screen. That's up to you if you want to do that. However, I still say that it's a kind of a big ripoff to do cheers because of the fact that it's costing you almost a near extra 30% than what you're really paying for. You know, instead of buying a bottle of water for $1, you're paying like $1.40, $1.50. In some countries, they actually pay a lot more. And I actually did the math. Even though they say that it's actually cheers are actually what the fuck did they call that term, pegged to the US dollar, it's not fair pegged. And by this I'm talking about this. In one country it costs them probably like 2.5 hours of work to peg $1 versus here in the US we could work for like maybe 20 minutes and we would have that $1, maybe 5 minutes and we have that $1, regardless of whatever your damn hourly pay is. But to another country, they have to work like 2.5, 3 hours to peg $1 because their currency is actually shittier than the US dollar. So that's what I'm saying, is that the cheers are actually kind of a ripoff in the long term. Now, aside from that, if you guys are going to be doing any donations, just know I actually do, for some reason, have no way of like stopping it from going to my bank. I thought I was just going to leave it on Stripe, which is where I get most of it, or Ko-Fi. It just kind of like auto deposits whenever it fucking wants to. I have no way of stopping it. So I've come to the conclusion every time I get any donations that are automatically deposited to my account, I'm just going to withdraw it as cash and keep it in a pile until it gets to that goal of 3,000, 4,000 so I can build this PC piece by piece. You know, we'll probably try to get a better mic. We'll probably try to get an actual webcam. I think honestly the webcam would probably be the most useful thing possible, and I actually do want to get that better webcam, but it's like $130 for the Elgato Facecam Pro Mark II, which apparently is better than the Insta360 and better than the there's a couple others that I can name that are top, but they're not actually kind of shit. But yeah, the Elgato Mark II is actually a pretty decent camera, so I'm going to be getting that in the future. But yeah, all right, let's get on with Folklore here. Let me just eat first, and I thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, bye bye, guys.